The cold December wind whipped through the downtown streets as 41-year-old Michael Sterling hurried toward his office building, his charcoal gray suit and expensive overcoat protecting him from the winter chill. As founder and CEO of Sterling Industries, Michael had built his manufacturing company through decisive leadership, but the recent round of workforce reductions continued to weigh heavily on his mind 6 weeks after implementation. The plant closures had been necessary to remain competitive, yet the sleepless nights suggested his conscience was not entirely at peace with the decision. As Michael approached the plaza near his corporate headquarters, he noticed a small figure huddled against the side of a building. A little girl who appeared to be about 7 years old sat on a folded blanket, wearing a tan winter coat that seemed well cared for despite showing signs of wear. Her blonde hair was neatly braided, and she was gently holding a fluffy white puppy with a blue collar. Beside her sat a handmade cardboard sign written in careful block letters, "Puppy for sale, please help." Michael's usual response to street solicitation was to continue walking without engagement, but something about the sight of this young child with her puppy made him pause. There was an air of desperation mixed with dignity in her posture that he found impossible to ignore. Approaching cautiously, Michael crouched down to the little girl's level. "Good morning. I am Michael. What is your name?" The little girl looked up with large blue eyes that held a seriousness beyond her years. "I am Sophie. This is Snowball." She carefully adjusted her grip on the puppy as she spoke. "We are looking for someone who can give him a really good home." Michael examined the puppy, who appeared healthy and well socialized despite the unusual circumstances. "Snowball seems like a very special dog. Can you tell me why you need to find him a new home?" Sophie's expression grew somber as she looked down at the puppy nestled in her arms. "My mama lost her job at the factory, and we do not have enough money to buy dog food anymore. Mama said that sometimes people have to make sacrifices for the family, even when it makes them really sad." Michael felt a chill that had nothing to do with the December weather. The timing of Sophie's mother's unemployment coincided exactly with his company's recent plant closure, and he began to fear that this child might be directly impacted by his business decisions. "Where is your mama right now?" Michael asked gently. "She is at the unemployment office trying to apply for benefits," Sophie replied with the matter-of-fact tone children use when repeating information they do not fully understand. "She told me I could try to find Snowball a good family while she was gone, but that I should not stay out here too long because it is really cold." Michael was struck by the responsibility this young child was shouldering and the trust her mother had placed in her to handle such a difficult situation. "What kind of work did your mama do at the factory?" "She worked on the machines that made car parts," Sophie explained with obvious pride in her mother's skills. "She was really good at her job and worked there for a long time, but the bosses said they did not need the factory anymore." Michael's heart sank as he realized that Sophie was describing Sterling Industries' automotive parts division, which had been closed as part of the consolidation efforts. The closure had eliminated 300 jobs, including many employees who had been with the company for years. "What is your mama's name?" Michael asked, though he was already dreading confirmation of his suspicions. "Her name is Lisa Rodriguez," Sophie replied innocently. "She always said she was proud to work at Sterling Industries because they made important things that helped people's cars run safely." Michael felt as though the ground had shifted beneath him. Lisa Rodriguez had been a machine operator with an exemplary attendance record and quality ratings who had been laid off purely because of the plant closure. Michael remembered reviewing the employee lists and feeling uncomfortable about displacing so many dedicated workers, but had convinced himself it was necessary for the company's long-term viability. Now, confronted with Lisa's 7-year-old daughter trying to sell her beloved puppy to help her family survive, Michael was faced with the human reality of his corporate decisions in a way that was both devastating and enlightening. "Sophie," Michael said carefully, "what if instead of selling Snowball, I could help your mama find a new job? Would that be something you would want?" Sophie's eyes brightened with hope and amazement. "You could really do that? Are you like a magic job finder?" Michael smiled despite the gravity of the situation. "Something like that. I work for a company that needs people who are good at operating machines and making things, just like your mama." "That would be incredible," Sophie exclaimed, then her expression grew more practical. "But mama says it takes a really long time to find new jobs, and we need money for food and rent right now. That is why Snowball has to find a new family." Michael made a decision that felt both impulsive and morally imperative. "Sophie, what if I helped your family with money for food and rent while your mama looks for work, and you could keep Snowball?" Sophie stared at him with complete wonder. "You would do that for us? But you do not know anything about us." Michael considered his response carefully. Because sometimes people in business make decisions that hurt families without meaning to. When we realize what has happened, the right thing to do is try to help fix the problem. That afternoon, Michael instructed his human resources director to locate Lisa Rodriguez's employment file and contact information. When Lisa arrived at Sterling Industries headquarters the next day, she was bewildered to be meeting with the CEO himself rather than a lower-level manager. "Ms. Rodriguez, I want to start by acknowledging that our plant closure has had serious consequences for you and your family," Michael said as they sat in his office. "I recently met your daughter Sophie, and her situation made me realize that I have not adequately considered the human impact of our business restructuring." Lisa looked both confused and wary. "Mr. Sterling, I appreciate you saying that, but I'm not sure why you wanted to meet with me personally." Michael took a deep breath before continuing. "Yesterday, I encountered Sophie trying to sell her puppy to help your family with expenses. That meeting showed me that I have a moral obligation to do more for the employees who have contributed to our company's success over the years." Lisa's eyes filled with tears as she understood the connection. "Sophie was supposed to be at the neighbor's house yesterday. I had no idea she was trying to sell Snowball." "She is an extraordinary little girl," Michael replied with genuine admiration. "Her willingness to sacrifice something she loves to help her family demonstrated the kind of loyalty and character that our company should be supporting, not abandoning." Michael paused, then continued with sincere conviction. "Ms. Rodriguez, I would like to offer you a position as floor supervisor at our main manufacturing facility, with a substantial salary increase and comprehensive benefits. Additionally, I want to create an employee transition fund to assist workers and their families during unexpected job changes." Lisa looked at him with disbelief. "Are you offering me this position because you feel guilty about the plant closure?" "I am offering you this position because you are skilled and dedicated, and because I have learned that a responsible company must consider the welfare of employee families as part of its success metrics," Michael replied honestly. 8 months later, as Michael watched Sophie play with Snowball in the company's new employee recreation area during the summer picnic, he often reflected on how a child's desperate attempt to help her family had transformed his understanding of corporate leadership. Lisa had not only excelled in her supervisory role but had also helped develop the employee transition programs that were now being recognized as a model for responsible business practices in manufacturing. Sophie had unknowingly taught Michael that authentic business success must include consideration of the families whose lives are affected by corporate decisions, and that true leadership requires taking responsibility for unintended consequences. The puppy that had nearly been sold out of necessity now served as a beloved presence at company events, a living reminder that the most important business principle is ensuring that corporate prosperity contributes to rather than detracts from the well-being of the families who make that prosperity possible. Michael had discovered that redemption in business comes not from avoiding difficult decisions, but from ensuring that those decisions are made with full awareness of their human impact and a commitment to supporting those who are affected.